What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, once again joined by
Gershwin.
and we're back at it to answer more of your questions in another episode of For the Greater. I was going to cough, but I didn't.
Okay, got it, I did.
We're back to answer questions. Tell them what it is.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first.
That is exactly what Calum Ewing has done. His question is quite sad. It hurts for me to speak it into reality.
Because it's heretical.
If one Primarch had to kill the Emperor, who would you want it to be and why? From a lore perspective.
Very good question.
Yeah. So,
I think, so we should take this into like what realistically would it be and then our
What we
own,
want.
like what we want.
yeah.
Because realistically, I think out of all of the Primarchs, the one to destroy or most likely to kill the Emperor would be the Lion.
Why is that?
Because he's already known as a betrayer. He's already known as like the chaos.
Well, I wouldn't say he's known as a betrayer. There
His
are
people are.
betrayer in his legion.
Yeah.
The Fallen and whatnot. Cypher, not knowing if he's a good guy or a bad guy. But I never felt that the Lion himself would do something like that. I know that he feels shame for what his legion has become after being known as like the Knights of Caliban, the protectors of the realm and all that. And I don't think that he'd do that.
Did he say loyalists or?
I just said if one Primarch had to do it.
Because another thing too, we talked about this at the beginning of the week with Alpharius. It would kind of make sense that the Alpha Legion and either Alpharius or Omegon would kill the Emperor, because at the end of the day, they knew that what was going to mean the destruction of chaos was the destruction of the Emperor and the destruction of humanity. So it might be like one of those sacrificial things where like Alpharius comes in, stabs the Emperor. It's like, all right, now it's time to...
Yeah, it's time to plunge humanity into their descent of... But
death.
Yeah, but it'll be good because no more chaos. Yay, everybody else except humans.
What do you think, most realistically?
Most realistically, I feel like it's got to be a Chaos Primarch. In my opinion, it makes sense for it to be Lorgar because of his spreading of the Imperial Creed, or the thought of the Emperor being a god. And his love for the Emperor was so strong, and I felt like the Emperor punished him the most out of any Primarch for his misdoings. So I think that he has that revenge already instilled in him. He's been meditating on top of that tower for eons, just getting ready to like plan out how he's going to attack and what's going to happen. And I think it'd be an interesting clash to see the guy that essentially put the Emperor up on a pedestal of godhood for him to show that gods can be killed.
Yeah. Now, what I would want to see is, I would want to see like just any old loyalist Primarch to kill the Emperor in the hopes that by killing him, his perpetual status would mean that he would just reawaken.
Revive, yeah.
And then it would be one of those situations like stab him, and let's prepare for like a battle. And how long that battle's gonna last, who knows? Because who knows how long the Emperor will take to come back.
Mm-hmm.
It would be cool to see Vulcan do it though, just because Vulcan is a perpetual.
The perpetual.
So he's like, well, it happened to me. I was nearly like completely destroyed, and I'm back. So the Emperor has to do the same thing.
Or maybe it's like a sacrifice where if somehow Vulcan dies for good, maybe that perpetual power goes back into the Emperor.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because perpetuals have never been explained that I'm aware of. Like, how does it work? Like, if you cut a perpetual in two, do both bodies regrow? Or like, what's going on there? So, yeah. But, but yeah, I kind of feel like it'd be pretty cool to see like a loyalist have to be the one to kill the Emperor, like, so that chaos isn't the one to claim his soul or something like that. Yeah. Just to show like the Primarchs see the Emperor kind of like as a father figure. Some, not all, but like having that emotional struggle as like, I don't want to kill you, but I have to. And then have it be like Guilliman killing the Emperor with his own flaming sword.
See.
Yeah.
That's who you would want then? or something of that nature.
Something of that nature, where it's still like a loyalist having to do it unwillingly.
Yeah.
But it's like Primarchs aren't supposed to have emotions. Like they're supposed to be very stoic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll go see.
Next question.
This one's by the guy named as Green Gas Blaster. How does the AdMech drop titans of various sizes on planets? Like, do they just have a huge drop pod or what?
Yes, so it's both. So when you're dealing with like the Warhound Titans, those are drop pod size things, or they're just like regular ships that just make planetfall. And then you have like the Super Emperor class Titans that are actually lowered. Mm-hmm. So they are tethered to the giant battle fleets that are orbiting, and then they are lowered. And there's a couple images in like the older codex of like these giant machines like coming down.
Yeah, the AdMech has some pretty awesome like aircraft and terraforming machines that we don't really get to see because that's not really part of warfare. Kind of like how we don't really get to see like ammo belts all that much. Obviously you're gonna need to like reload, but
yeah,
nah, let's not show that.
They used to have a model. It was like a little tank thing. Because there's this robot that the military has been testing, and there's videos of it on YouTube where it looks like a cat, or it looks like
I know what you're talking about.
Like a mule or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was for like the Space Marines, but it had tank tracks, and it had like a little bolter thing in the front, and then it had like ammo packs all around it. But they got rid of it. I don't think it's a thing anymore.
Yeah. Whenever I think of like trying to refuel an ammo, I always go back to the last battle in Saving Private Ryan, where it's just that one guy who just has like ammo like all over him, and he's just running from person to person. Like, just trying to see that, it's like, that must suck. Knowing that if you can't get to your battle brothers, like they're dead.
Yeah.
Like they have no means to defend themselves, obviously with like bayonets and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, and even though that sounds cool, like it would be cool to have a model that looks like a servitor that looks like that guy running around in the battlefield, and he acts as some sort of like buff to your army. At the same time, I think most of the tabletop has been trying to get as simple as possible. At least this latest edition did.
Yeah, it's like trying to keep track of another unit that can't really shoot or fight. Like that's it's not simplifying the game. It's making it a bit more complex.
Yeah, but it would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Next question. This one is from Green Gas.
That's
the same one. Did you already do Pineapple?
No, I did not.
Pineapple asks, most cheesy strategy you can think of on the tabletop.
That is really great, but I feel like the cheesiest strategy is to like text your buddies, all right, we're doing a 1,500 point game Sunday, 3:00, and then just not show up.
Yeah, we have a friend that does that. He's annoying.
Yeah, and it's like we text him various times, and it's like, oh yeah, like I'll be there. Nah, never mind.
No. Yeah. He does that for everything though. He doesn't just do it for 40K.
It's like, oh, I can't show up to the game, but I'll come to eat with you guys afterwards. Doesn't.
Sometimes he even texts you, and he's like, "Hey, let's hang out today." Okay, cool. Nah, never mind. I'm just gonna drive around.
What?
Why did you text me then?
Yeah, I'm just gonna drive around your house a few times.
He's watching. Asshole. But yeah, the cheesiest strategy as an orc player, I think the cheesiest strategy would just be a bunch of tanks full of tank hunters. So just a bunch of what are they called?
Tank busters.
Tank busters. There you go.
I think your cheesiest strategy is get mobs of 30 boys and the jump right in your face.
Yeah, but they're squishy. You can get rid of 30 boys.
But like doing that with like 6 30 boy squads, that's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, I guess it's a lot of wounds. But like I said, they're very squishy. They like. If a unit of orc boys survives to the end of a game, then that's insane to me. Mm-hmm. They're meant to die.
Well, yeah, they're just pawns.
Yeah, it's back in the day, you guys would kill off my tank busters like right away, but now I do lean on like the cheesiness, and I bring like 2 units in trucks so that they're well protected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. I know in previous editions, you could do like the Kroot conga line, where you position your Kroot in a way where if your enemy is trying to deep strike or outflank, they can't come in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like I mean, it's hilarious, but it's kind of like all right, like we're not even playing at this point.
Yeah. Is there anything cheesy for Tau nowadays?
I'm not sure about nowadays, but I know my 7th edition just spam Riptides. Bring in 6 Riptides, and you've already won before even playing.
The same used to be for Chaos, right? Like you just bring a bunch of Bloodthirsters or
something like that.
Chaos Demons or something like that.
Yep. I know back in the day, just bring in the what are they called? The bikers for the orcs.
Oh yeah,
just because of wound allocations, you'd have a pain boy, and like you could allocate wounds to where like nobody would die after like 3 turns of shooting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then before that, I think it was 4th edition. Or maybe 5th edition, but the Gene Stealers would do that thing where they would jump from one unit to the next unit to the next unit, and you could never shoot at them, and you would have to fight them in close combat. And Gene Stealers in close combat back then were like brutal.
Yeah, if you were a Tau player, just give up at that point.
So there's always been like 1 or 2 other Grey Knights.
Grey Knights,
just in general. They had like 6th edition.
Like you can't shoot them. Like plasma weapons did no effect against Grey Knights. Like what?
Yeah.
Like if I bring all plasma, like I'm done. I can't do anything.
Even the Gnolls, so like the Sisters of Silence, didn't have like rules like that, and they're supposed to. Like psychic weapons aren't supposed to affect them at all. But yeah. Those
was always a thing where it's like they want you to buy the next codex, so the next codex was always going to be better than the previous, and that's kind of what happened. It's up to a certain point where it's like, okay, like things are getting way too out of hand. Like it's only 10 points to get like a dreadnought. Like, it wasn't that crazy, but yeah.
Next question comes from Benjamin Manning. He asks, "Is Beastmen Space Marines possible? Also, have any notable Beastmen joined the Tau?" So, no notable Beastmen, but yes, Beastmen have joined the Tau Empire. You could actually, there's a lot of conversions of like Beastmen that go over to the Tau. And remember that not all Beastmen are goat hybrids. There are also others. So whenever you see like the lion beast or the lion Beastmen in Tau uniforms, because there's like a popular mini that was converted that just always pops up whenever you research Tau auxiliary. So yeah, that is a Beastman. So it's an abhuman. And then is there Beastmen, Space Marines? No, the same thing is that there's no Ogryn Space Marines, because genetically they're not capable of withstanding the indoctrination process of the gene seeds and all that kind of stuff. Probably the what is it called? Psychoanalyzing done by the chaplains or the apothecaries the librarians would just completely destroy a Beastman, because Beastmen are more, or the lore stated that they're almost as prone to chaos, but I feel like certain other books say a different thing. So
my phone just kind of refreshed, but I had a question that said, how tall exactly are the Primarchs? After Googling it, he said that he saw various conflicting sizes.
As far as we know, Space Marines are supposed to be 9 feet, and Primarchs are supposed to be taller than that. So around, like, let's say Vulcan's probably like 15.
Right, because he's supposed to be the tallest of them.
But those are just numbers that we don't really know. And I don't think GW has said anything. Maybe in the Horus Heresy series.
Right. I mean, if you look at the Gilliman sculpt, that dude is massive compared to like a Space Marine.
He looks funny too.
Yeah, like proportion-wise, it's a little off. But yeah, Primarchs are supposed to be, I want to say, at least head and shoulders height above a Space Marine. Except if you're talking about Alfarius and Omegon, they were the same size as their Space Marine Legionnaires.
Yes.
That's how they were able to like mix in with like their squads and stuff, and like it'd be harder to figure out who's in command and stuff, which is a really smart tactic if you think about it. It's like, oh, obviously the tallest guy is the Primarch, aim for him, take him down, and it's like the infrastructure will collapse. But you're fighting against the Alpha Legion. They all look the same. Like, who's in command? You don't know.
Yeah. Next question comes from Degal Rants. How powerful would Demon Primarch Horus and Conrad Kurz be? Well, Conrad Kurz might still be around.
Right. I mean, it's not 100% confirmed that the assassin got him,
Yeah.
or he let the assassin get him.
Yep. And how powerful would the Primarch Horus be? He would be even more powerful than Abaddon.
I think if Horus was still alive, he'd be the strongest Primarch.
He would definitely not be a demon, though.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
I think he would fall under the same thing that Abaddon. Like, he's too prideful. He wants to like maintain his own like sanity, and he doesn't want to go to one. Or he might be like a Bellicor. That'd be kind of cool.
A demon prince of Undivided, but I don't know if, because like Bellicor tricked the gods into becoming a demon prince with all powers of them. I don't know if that would happen again, if the Chaos Gods would let that happen.
Either way, he'd be very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think the only one that could take Horus down was the Emperor, but obviously he's in the state he's currently in, so he would be the strongest Primarch.
Yeah. This question comes from Fox1223. He asks, why is Conrad Kurz, the Night Lords, the best? Playing devil's advocate on this. I really like the Night Lords and Conrad Kurz just because of what they represent for warfare. They are supposed to be the ones that like maintain order through fear, and that is like a really like successful strategy. If you look at most nations, once they gain control, there's always like a secret organization or a secret police force, and that's what the Night Lords are. So why are they the most powerful? Because they are the ones that take advantage of their tactics after like the war has been won. So yeah, they're really cool.
This is an interesting question. Talking about Perturabo, Joe Vines says, would it be cooler if he was still human, meaning Primarch, or if he became half machine, kind of like Darth Vader? Since now he's a full pawn of Chaos Undivided, it doesn't really fit his character, in his opinion.
I like the idea of him being a half Dreadnought or half like machine,
because it differentiates him from all the other Primarchs, because they're all like either not demon Primarchs or they're specific to their Chaos God. But to see him actually become more infused with machine would be really badass.
Yeah, the more lore I read on Perturabo, the more it's like, oh yeah, he's a really badass dude. Especially his upbringing. Like, he already had all that knowledge.
Yeah.
He was gifted to the point where he knew about the Emperor, he knew about the Eye of Terror, or at least he felt the calling of the Eye of Terror.
Right.
And all that kind of good stuff.
But yeah, I just really want something beefy and like strong looking that's still like a machine.
Yeah.
I've always liked like the Dark Mechanicus, the Demon Engines. That looks really cool.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Yeah.
That's all we got. Keep on asking those questions, and we'll keep on answering them. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.